Good morning. It's Monday. Last day of September 30th, 2024. You guys are probably wondering, where's he been? It's a beautiful day here in Morgan County. Brush. Nice sunshiny day. Kind of cool out. But yes, it is a pretty day out. I'll put this out here. I'll try to announce it too when I'm done, but I'm not going to be on here tomorrow, guys. I have to take Gary to the airport in the morning, so I will be on the road. So I will not be on here tomorrow. Should be on here the rest of the week, I would think. But got to get back in the routine here. Been out of it for a little over a week or so now. And try to get back into this too. So also, I don't know if he'll be able to listen to this or not at some point, but a shout out to John Beltran. He watches this. He's been an icon on our AM radio and FM radio. One of the by far the best sports announcer that I have known personally, especially for local sports. And John is very good at what he does, and I believe his wife has retired from teaching. Congratulations. And not sure if John's going to retire or possibly maybe get a finish out job later, but they are planning on moving to Florida and really going to miss him in this community. He's been a good friend, and we appreciate what he does on the radio. And But I wish him the best, he and his lovely wife, and they're going to be down in Florida closer to their kids and grandkids, which are very important. And I think he came here in, I believe, 1998, and might have been 97, same year as me. But I know that we were real close together getting here. And anyway, shout out to John. John, if you listen to this, just know that we will be praying for you and appreciate you, and have a wonderful retirement and enjoy those grandbabies there in Florida. Gary is headed out tomorrow, so you guys pray for Gary Norris as he is headed back to Indiana and then going to be trying to get into North Carolina and help out there. And we have had him here for close to 3 months, and has been a real blessing having him around, and we sure do appreciate his ministry. And today, since he has never seen the fall colors here in Colorado, we are going to take a little short road trip here and go up into the mountains today and let him see the colors. And Miss Joyce, I hear you're going with us, so as soon as I am off of here, we will be headed your way, and we will be going up to see some of the fall colors and let Gary see those Quakies for the first time in the fall. I'm sure he will enjoy those. All right, well, let's get into this, and then might be done a little bit early just to get things done. But I was share some things over the last week that I read, and I was in Psalm 69, and he starts this off, David does. He says, "Save me, O God, for the waters are come in unto my soul. I sink in deep mire where there is no standing. I am come into deep waters where the floods overflow me. I am weary of my crying, my throat is dried, mine eyes fail while I wait for my God. They that hate me without a cause are more than the hairs of mine head. They that would destroy me, being mine enemies wrongfully, are mighty. Then I restored that which I took not away. O God, thou knowest my foolishness, and my sins are not hid from thee. And before I start explaining some of this, I see Jim Metzke, you're on here. Happy birthday. God bless you. Hope you have a wonderful day today. And in Psalm 69, we see David here, first of all, writing that he's overwhelmed. I mean, there are times in our lives it's the same way. But then he in verse 4 says, there are a lot of people that hate me and they're watching me. And in verse 15, he goes on, he says, let not the water flood overflow me, neither let the deep swallow me up, and let not the pit shut her mouth upon me. Hear me, O God, for thy loving kindness is good. Turn unto me according to the multitude of thy tender mercies. And then he goes on and he starts talking about those who trouble him. And it just reminded me that, guys, we all need to pay attention and understand that people are watching us all the time. Now, I know we can't care of what people's opinions are of us, but we also do need to realize that our behavior does matter, and that we need to pay attention to how we react to things, what we say, how we go about doing things. And I'm not the best at this. There are times when I fail miserably on this, but we really do need to guard our behavior better and understand that the world is watching to see how you react to things. There are those who are looking to find, those chinks in the armor where they can get in and criticize you, or even worse yet, try to destroy you. And I'm telling you, we need to pay attention and guard our testimony and guard our reaction to things around us, guard our mouths, and make sure that we are representing God well in the things that we're doing. Look, if we're going through a life-changing moment in our lives where we're dealing with things that are beyond our control, but let's guard our attitude. Jim, I think of you. You're celebrating your birthday, and your health right now is definitely not what you'd want it to be, but you have guarded your testimony, and you have a wonderful testimony, and thank God for that. And there are people that could become very angry and bitter because of that. And as believers, we have to guard against those kinds of things, right? If we are in financial duress, you can be angry, and you can start looking at doing things dishonestly, and people are going to watch you. If you are challenged at work and your boss is really coming down on you, how are you going to handle that? There are all kinds of situations that people are watching. People are going to watch your marriage while you're out and about, and they watch to see how you treat each other and how you treat your children, and all of those things. And like I said, you don't have to be concerned about their opinion, but we do need to be careful and understand that they're watching us all the time. And let's make sure that we are guarding our testimony as much as we possibly can, and be careful with that. And then I was reminded on over in Psalm 71, and two different places, and this is why it caught my attention. David wrote it out twice, but he said in verse 9 of 71, he said, cast me not off in the time of old age. And then later on in verse 18, he says, now also when I am old and gray-headed, O God, forsake me not. And isn't it good to know that God never forgets us? How many times do we see someone that a family member gets put away in a nursing home and they are forgotten? People don't go to visit them or spend any time with them whatsoever, and just lock them away, and they die by themselves. And what a horrible way to go. And isn't it good to know that God never forgets us? And even as we get older and our abilities aren't what they used to be, and we're just not capable of doing everything that we could before, God doesn't forget us. And he's always there, and all he wants you to do is do what you can. And do it to the best of your ability, whatever that may be. It may be just you're physically not able to do anything, but you can sit there and you can pray for someone and pray for others and be a tremendous prayer warrior. And I mean, you could, I don't know, people can write if they're, not able to get out and about, or I don't know, we just need to do whatever we can for God and know that he never forgets us. And just an encouragement to know that as we grow older, that we aren't forgotten by God, and God can and will and chooses to use us, and it's a wonderful privilege to do that. Then I was on over into Isaiah, and in Isaiah, a couple of things here in chapter 62. In verses 10, 11, and 12. This is what it says. Go through the gates. Prepare ye the way of the people. Cast up the highway. Gather out the stones. Lift up a standard for the people. Behold, the Lord hath proclaimed unto the end of the world. Say you to the daughter of Zion, behold, thy salvation cometh. Behold, his reward is with him, and his work before him. And they shall call them the holy people, the redeemed of the Lord, and thou shalt be called sought out, a city not forsaken. Now, a couple of things here that, first of all, I believe that he is referring to Israel, Judah, put together now, and no longer the divided kingdoms. Whenever they are both taken into captivity, they've lost their identity. And this, I believe, is, first of all, commenting on the time when they're going to be allowed back into their country and allowed back into Jerusalem. And that's where Zerubbabel and Ezra and Nehemiah and all of that takes place. So here we see him referring to that. It also, I believe, is a reference later on to the end of the tribulation period when Jesus Christ sets up his throne there on Zion and in Jerusalem and reigns for 1,000 years. And either way, first of all, he's saying, I haven't forgotten you, I haven't forsaken you. But also, you think about it, and it's just a beautiful picture of restoration and how God restores the relationship with his people. And exactly what he's done with us when we know that he has restored us into the right relationship. And it's sweet, but also you think about this and you want to praise God that there are times in our lives as Christians also that we are restored from our carnality, and we get it right with God. And I'm telling you, restoration is a beautiful thing, and we always ought to be looking for restoration in relationships. That, first of all, in our relationship with God, let's make sure it is first of all settled with the blood of Christ, and that we've trusted Christ as our Savior, and then make sure that the fellowship that we have with him is what it needs to be. And if it needs to be restored, then fix it. Confess the things that are hindering you. It's never God's fault. If your fellowship isn't what it needs to be with God, it's never God's fault. It's our own, and we need to get it right. And but I'm just thinking of this, and I read this, and I thought, restoration is just a beautiful thing. When you see it come to pass, and you watch God do something in someone's heart, or you see it even in your own life, and you see it in marriages, you see it in relationships in church families that get things right, and restoration is a beautiful thing, and we always ought to be trying our hardest to bring restoration in relationships. And they do get hindered. I mean, they do get severed at times. People are people, and it's a real challenge at times. But We need to work hard at restoration. And then I was in Philippians and chapter 1, and this jumped out at me first of all, and verses 9 and 10 of Philippians chapter 1, and Paul writes this, and he says, "And this I pray, that your love may abound." Good, right? We want our love to abound. We want to have more love for one another, but we're not talking about a worldly, carnal love here. We're talking about a godly love, that because it goes on, it says that, "This I pray, that your love may abound yet more and more in knowledge and in all judgment." So there is a specific way we ought to be loving, and it's God's way. God loves us, but God doesn't put up with junk in our lives. He convicts us of it and shows us that we need to get it right in our lives. And the Holy Spirit continuously is there, guiding and convicting and reproving and rebuking and restoring. I mean, He's always doing those things in our lives. Praise the Lord. He doesn't leave us to ourselves, right? Well, and then in the next verse, verse 10, he says this, "So that you may abound more in knowledge and in all judgment, that ye may approve things that are excellent, that ye may be sincere and without offense till the day of Christ." Sometimes people say, and they want you to say that if you are going to love everyone, then you have to accept everything that they do. No, you don't. As a matter of fact, right here is very contrary to that. And we need to love more and more in knowledge and in judgment, and that you may approve things that are excellent. We need to have discernment, guys. We don't just, I don't know. I had a gentleman one time that was upset because I called someone a heretic. Look, this guy is a false teacher. I don't know how else to say it. The man's a false teacher. Don't listen to him, okay? And don't get mad at me for saying that. But some do. Well, you're not showing love in doing that. Yes, I am. The man needs to realize he's a false teacher and he's a heretic, and he needs to get things right in his own life. And also, if he's standing up there in the pulpit, then people that are listening to him need to know that he is not teaching the truth. And there is a discernment there that we need to have, and we need to love the people that are listening to him enough to tell them, look, don't be listening to that. This is what he's saying here. You may abound in your love, yet more and more in knowledge and in all judgment, that you may approve things that are excellent. But the world has convinced Christians that you have to accept everything about someone. No, you don't. And nor should you ever do that. And then the second thing, the last thing that we'll look at today, I got into chapter 2, and it says here, "Fulfill ye my joy, that ye may be like-minded, have the same love, being of one accord, of one mind, let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others." Just stop being contentious. Yes, we need to love with knowledge and judgment to approve those things that are excellent. Absolutely, we should definitely do that. But in doing so, don't get in people's face, and don't think that you have the job of Nathan the prophet and get in people's faces. We need to learn to walk humbly with God. Look what Jesus did in verses 5 through 11, and we see how important it is to be humble in the way that we deal with things and help people along the way, but we still have to love with knowledge and judgment and approving those things that are excellent. I mean, there's a balance there that, guys, we have to work at having, right? And we need to understand why. Because when we're saved, then we're God's to be used. He tells us in verse 13, for it is God which worketh in you both the will and to do of his good pleasure. We need to be representing him well in the things that we're doing, things that we say, how we react to things, and how we love. I mean, we need to love with discernment and judgment and knowledge of what God's word says. And why? That you may be blameless and harmless, the sons of God, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom you shine as lights in the world. And we need to work hard at being what it is that God wants us to be, and we need to figure out, and that's part of the Christian growth, is we need to figure out, okay, God, how do I love with knowledge, judgment, and discernment? How do I do that? And help me to do that. And because we need to love God, we need to love his word, and we need to love people. And the hardest one are people, because God and his word don't change. They're easy. It's really a whole lot easier to love them because nothing changes. It's always the same. People change. People are challenging. People will make you question your sanity at times. And what do we do about it? Well, we still need to love them, but we love them with knowledge, judgment, and approving those things that are excellent. That's what I need to work on. And that's what jumped out at me this morning is, God, help me to do this. Help me to love in the right way, a biblical way. Help me to respond in a biblical way. Help me to walk in a way that when people look at me, they can see that I'm doing my best to lead them to Jesus and show them the beautiful Savior and the joy of restoration, and watch God do something great. So there it is. Monday's musings. And we're going to get out there and enjoy today, see some of God's beauty today, and be back later this afternoon. Pray for the Jones family as we will be having that funeral on in October, on the 12th of October, and pray for them. I'll know more about what time I'm meeting with family tomorrow, and we'll be able to discern, know the time and all of that. But anyway, that's it. Don't forget, I'm taking Gary to the airport in the morning, so we'll not be on here tomorrow. But Lord willing, I'll be back on here on Wednesday. God bless you guys. Have a great day.